So individuals that have adult ADHD are considered to have poor listening skills. I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. And maybe some of you are watching this and you're thinking, "Oh no, you're being offended. You're offended because you have ADHD and you don't want anybody to say that you don't know how to listen. You're hearing me, but you're not listening to me, Billy Hoyle." Believe it or not, there is a point from that cheesy basketball movie from the 90s, White Man Can't Jump. I can confirm that that is a true statement. But let's not get distracted now. In that movie, there is a conversation between the two main characters, Billy Hoyle and his girlfriend. The girlfriend is complaining about how Billy doesn't listen and doesn't, he hears what she is saying, but he is not listening. I think that we hear everything that's going on around us. When you decide to listen to something, it's a deliberate act of giving your full attention. It's a deliberate act of taking that information in, processing it, and storing it so that it can be recalled later on when needed. When you're in a relationship, people don't want you to hear them. They want you to listen to them. The essence of a relationship is communication. I believe that individuals that have ADHD can actually listen very well when there's nothing else in the room competing for their attention. If she'd get so upset with me, she'd say, "Are you listening to a word that I am saying? Do you hear what is coming out my mouth?" And when she questions, "Are you hearing what I'm screaming?" I have the ability to list every single thing that she just said. But here comes the trouble. Here comes the problem. Then there are times where she's talking and I'm doing what I typically do as far as scanning the room and not looking at her while she's talking to me, and something else grabs my attention. And so now whatever she told me didn't get stored. If I need to recall that information that she relayed to me, I can't because I didn't retain it. Now we find ourselves having to have a different kind of a conversation where she looks at me and says, "Do you care about me?" Those of you that do have ADHD, listen to what I'm about to say to you. It really falls on you. So let's talk about what we can do in order to become better listeners. And to work on it, we've got to be deliberate. We've got to get away from this excuse mindset. Well, I've got this neurological brain disorder, therefore I can't do so. We're talking about undivided attention. And when we're thinking about ADHD, well, we're talking about attention deficit, which means we struggle with giving that undivided attention. But it's something that we've got to work on. You also got to believe that the product of doing that hard work is going to be beneficial. It's going to create a longer lasting relationship, and it's also going to scream out to that person that you're with, "Hey, I like you. You're a good guy," or "You're a good girl, but I just like you." Here's some things that have worked in the last 20 years in my relationship. One, my wife getting a better understanding about how my brain works. And my wife getting a better understanding and doing some of her own research on why the ADHD brain does what the ADHD brain does. She then has a little bit more patience and understanding, but yet still wants us to move forward. Another key to our success is my desire and my willingness to try to work on my struggle of being a good listener. I want my wife to know that I want to hear her thoughts and concerns, and to be mindful and to be deliberate. You've got to create some reminders. You've got to maybe put a post-it note on your screen here. You've got to send yourself an alarm message on your Google Calendar that, hey, are you being a good listener? Are you giving the kind of attention to this relationship that is needed to make it grow? And I've done that, and I've gotten better, and my wife would admit that I've gotten better. It's taken time, though. Some things to keep in mind if you want to have successful conversations and you want to make sure that your ADHD adult is listening, you've got to be mindful of your surroundings. If you're trying to have a conversation with an individual while the TV's on and it happens to be on a program that that person absolutely loves, well, hello, you're setting yourself up for failure. And if you walk into a restaurant that has all types of activity and shiny things going on and you're expecting to have a successful conversation, it's not going to happen. When somebody's hungry and that hunger is screaming out, "Feed me, feed me, feed me," then you're probably not going to have a successful conversation. They're not going to hear you because all they can hear is that little inner voice inside the pit of their stomach saying, "I want a donut now." Other things that you can do by giving yourself little fidgets. Fidgets do help you focus. Make eye contact. show respect to the person that's having a conversation. When you look at them, you're basically saying, I value what you're saying, and I care about what you're saying, and I'm retaining what you're saying. If you've listened to everything that I've just said and you've retained it, you've got to start moving forward, trying harder. And those of you that don't have ADHD, be patient, have hope, recognize that it can get better as long as you guys work together. Hey, this has been Glenn, and as always, I want to encourage you to do one thing: keep moving forward. God bless.